Hi boys and girls. Today I'm coming to you from my couch because my husband is in the office doing some work and it might be a little noisy today because Colton is outside digging up stumps. He finally finished all his classes and now my husband is putting him to work. So if you hear anything, that's probably what it is. Okay, we are picking up with chapter 78, The Chase. And I think I have made a few goofs with labeling the chapters and reading a chapter extra. I apologize, boys and girls. It has been a busy week here for Mrs. Williams. Lots of meetings, and I have another one in about 30 minutes. So I'm going to get this video done and then send it out. All right, here we go. Chapter 78, The Chase. The street was empty. No people walking, no robots working, no automobiles driving. Roz looked to the sky, hoping to see Bright Bill or Strutter. But what she saw was a fleet of white triangular airships. They were floating over the city, searching for the runaway robot, and they had just spotted her. Rosum Unit 7134, do not move. 3 robots zipped down from a ship on cables. They were Rico's 10, 11, and 12. Each held a rifle at his side, but they didn't fire their weapons. Not yet. Their orders were to retrieve the target unharmed, if possible. Our robot's survival instincts blared like sirens in her head, and she burst away from the Ricos. She sprinted down the empty street and turned onto another empty street. All the streets seemed to be empty, but they wouldn't be empty for long. More and more big, bulky robots came zipping down to join the chase. The Ricos moved like machines. Their target moved like an animal. The wild robot stayed low, gliding across the streets, darting around buildings, vanishing into the shadows. Her computer brain thought back to those games of hide and seek she had played on the farm. But this was no game. Roz never should have gone into that alley. She was halfway through it when Ricos appeared at both ends. There was only one direction to go. Using all the strength in her legs, our robot launched herself high into the air and she clamped onto the side of a building. Frightened faces peered out from a window, but Roz didn't want to frighten anyone. She just wanted to go home. The robot launched herself up and across the alley and clamped onto the opposite building. Back and forth she went, leaping between the buildings, climbing higher and higher, until she landed on a flat, lofty rooftop. The sky was filled with white airships. All at once, the ships turned toward Roz. Their engines buzzed as they closed in on our robot. But then came a strange, swishing noise. Pigeons, hundreds of them, thousands of them. Wave upon wave of pigeons streamed up from the streets and swarmed around their airships. Strutter had rallied her friends from every corner of the city. They had always hated airships, buzzing loudly, crowding the skies, forcing the birds to fly low. And now a city's worth of pigeons were finally unleashing their anger. As you'd expect, the airships fought back. Blazing beams of light flickered across the skyline and left charred feathers floating on the breeze. But the pigeons didn't retreat. They tightened around the ships, distracting them, confusing them. There was a deafening screech, little bodies fell, and a ship spiraled out of sight, leaving a trail of smoke behind it. Roz watched in horror as more pigeons and ships went down. She hollered for the birds to fly away, but they were lost in a fighting frenzy. Heavy feet thumped onto the roof. Rosum Unit 7134, do not move. Roz didn't look. She just ran from the voice, leaping to the next rooftop, and kept on running. our robot leaped up to a higher rooftop and then down to a lower one. Up and down she went, leaping from building to building, footsteps thundering behind her. But still, the Ricos did not fire their rifles. "Mama, I'm here!" Bright Bill swooped alongside his mother as she ran. "What should we do?" "Bright Bill, you must fly to safety," hollered Roz. "It is too dangerous up here." And then, in a softer voice, the robot said, "I cannot escape." "No, Mama, you've come so far. Don't give up now." There we go. But Roz was finished running. She slowed and stopped at the edge of the rooftop. The goose fluttered into her arms, and our friends held each other close. "You have been such a good son," said Roz. "You have saved my life so many times. But now you must save yourself and go on without me." "Will I see you again?" said Bright Bill, wiping his eyes. "I do not think so," said Roz. They still had so much to say to each other. There simply wasn't any more time. So they said the only words that really mattered. "I love you, Mama. I love you, son." Airships circled above. Ricos dropped onto rooftops. Rifles pointed at our robot. A voice boomed, "Rosum, Unit 7134, do not move." But Roz did move. She heaved her son toward the sky so that he could fly to safety. And in that instant, a trigger was pulled. A blazing beam of light flashed onto our robot's leg. Damaged sensors flared as the leg turned bright orange and melted away. Poor Roz tried to keep her balance, but she was already toppling backward off the roof. She seemed to hang in the air, sparkling in the sunlight, and then she fell down, down, down to the street below. As Roz was falling, she took one last look at Bright Bill, soaring in the sky above. She watched him get smaller and smaller. Then everything suddenly went dark. Well, we can't stop right here, boys and girls. We're going to read another chapter and see what's happening. Chapter 79, The Designer. Roz awoke slowly. She was surprised to be waking up at all. The fall from that building should have destroyed her, and yet here she was. But where was she? Everything was dark and silent. Was this where robots go when they die? No. As her systems activated, the real world came into focus. She saw white walls and floors, and she heard the hum of machinery in the background. Roz was somewhere inside the robot factory where she had been made. A pile of robot parts lay on the floor. The parts were smashed and mangled. It took a moment for Roz to realize she was looking down at her own broken body. It took another moment for her to realize she was now nothing more than a robotic head. Her head was sitting atop an electronic box that powered her computer brain. Roz still had her thoughts and her voice, but without a body, she couldn't move. So she sat there, completely helpless, and waited for the makers to appear. The makers did not appear. Instead, Roz heard soft footsteps, and an old woman appeared. She was elegant, with white hair and red lipstick and black clothes. Flowery perfume wafted behind her. Every detail about the woman was neat and precise, except for her fingers, which were smudged with dark grease. "Welcome back, Roz," said the woman, wiping her hands on a rag. There's the old woman. I wasn't sure I'd get your computer brain working again. You took quite a spill out there. How do you feel?" Roz just stared. "You don't have to pretend anymore," said the woman. "I know you're not a normal robot. Everyone knows. You made that perfectly clear when you led the Ricos on that wild chase through the city." Roz remained silent. "I watched the video of the chase. I don't know how you got those pigeons to attack our airships, but I'm more interested in the goose. You seem to be speaking with it. Can you explain this to me?" "The goose is my son," said Roz at last. "Is that so?" The woman arched an eyebrow. "Roz, I repaired your computer brain so I could talk with you. I want to know how you came to be this way. So let's talk. I'll begin by introducing myself. My name is Dr. Malavo. A long time ago, I fell in love with computers and robots, and I created a company called Tech Lab Industries. Since then, millions of robots have been produced right here in this factory, and I've designed every last one of them." Dr. Malavo leaned forward. "Roz, I designed you." And that is where we're going to stop today, boys and girls. We will pick up with chapter 80 tomorrow, The Beautiful Glitch. And I do have a joke for today, but I'm going to read 365 Days of Wonder first. Today is April 30th, the last day of April. "To each his own is beautiful." And that is a Latin proverb. You'll learn more about those when you get older. Okay, so that's the end of April. It's been a long month, but we're getting through this together. Tomorrow is May the 1st. And boys and girls, Mother's Day is coming up. So Miss Williams is not there to help you get a cute little project for Mom. So I want you to start getting creative. Maybe write Mom a friendly letter telling her how much you love and appreciate her. Okay? All 5 parts of the friendly letter and a beautiful picture. That's what you should be working on. Okay, my joke for the day. Which one was it? Okay. What's a bunny's favorite restaurant? I haven't been to a restaurant in a while, but what would be a bunny's favorite restaurant? IHOP. Like the International House of Pancakes. Have you heard of that, boys and girls? IHOP. That's where the bunnies like to go and eat. All right, boys and girls. Well, that is it for today. I did send out a survey for our next book, so ask your mom and dad if you haven't seen the survey yet to look in your email. It's there for you to vote. All right, I will see you tomorrow, boys and girls. Be good.